Hello everyone, this is Harry Shah from OUTKREATE. We are a presentation agency that specializes in presentations for IROs. Today I want to do a video case study. I want to walk you guys through an earnings presentation project we did for an IRO. I will be sharing with you the before versus the after. In the process, I also want to share some do's and don'ts that you can incorporate in your earnings. And I also want to unveil an earnings presentation system. This is a system we have created for our IRO clients, which really makes it easy, reduces time, reduces hassle as you work on your earnings slides. We'll do all of that, and at the end, we'll close with showing you real examples from this IRO, how they are using our earnings presentation system on their own quarter after quarter and really nailing their message, really getting their message across to their analysts and institutional investors audience. Awesome. Let's get started. Let me introduce you first to this company. The IRO from this company approached us to help them with their earnings. A little bit about this company. The name of this company is Belden Inc. It's a 120-year-old company. What you're seeing is the before version of their earnings presentation. Traditionally, they've been a cable company, and more recently, they've transitioned into a specialty networking solutions company. So they solve some really pressing problems for today's world. They really have this customer and a solution approach to things versus being a product company that they were in the past. So let's take a look at their before version of their earnings presentation. As you can see, this is their cover page. Let me walk through some of the big positives of their presentation. Overall, from a flow perspective, I really liked the way they were telling their story. They start out with key messages, for the quarter. They talk about key business news. Then they get into their total company or enterprise financial results. Then they talk about segment results. Then they get into their balance sheet and cash flow related numbers. They close with their outlook. They have this value creation framework, that they touch on as part of their closing. And this is sort of the slide for their final closing. So I really like the length of this earnings presentation. It touches on all the right things. Really solid job with the length, with the flow of the story. Here's where we thought were opportunities. Now let's talk about it from an opportunities perspective. As you can see, the deck was in need of an upgrade from a visual or a look and feel perspective. There is an opportunity to make the company look more modern by using more modern graphics, giving a more contemporary look and feel to the deck. Some other things that can be better. I love this opening of a key messages slide. But throughout the deck, as you can see, right, the headlines are not being used to speak to the narrative. They're just giving names to the data versus saying, hey, we had great segment results, or hey, our revenue exceeded expectations, or we grew profit 18%. Overall, every slide doesn't have a headline that helps you understand the message. If you look at this business news slide, it's a little busy, it's a little hard to understand when you go through it. Some of this data heavily relies on table, which is not bad, but it's not the best way to visualize data. It's not the best way for the audience to really understand what's going on. So some opportunity to visualize this so that it's easy to digest for the analyst audience. There are some really good sort of headlines or key messages here that can be more clear, that can be brought more to the front. A slide like this just says balance sheet highlights. You don't really know whether this is good or bad. You're leaving it to the audience to kind of decide on that, versus we can use better headlines. Maybe we can pick on certain, important KPIs versus showing everything in a table. Those were some opportunities. In the Outlook slide, again, this was a decent start. The opportunity here was, it's not very clear if they are reaffirming the outlook or they are changing the outlook. That wasn't clear. So some positives with the flow, the structure really being solid, opportunities with the look and feel, opportunities with being very clear with your narrative. What is it you want to convey your audience? You can do that better. You can also mix some numbers with story, business actions you're taking, or the key drivers. That's an opportunity as well. Let's look at the after version. This is the after version. It's not only an after version, it's actually an earnings presentation system that we created for them. So in essence, right, they have like a system of slides that can work depending on their situation. Quarter to quarter, we understand, right? Every IRO needs some flexibility. So we gave them a system that allows them to be flexible, yet consistent, yet easy to create those slides from quarter to quarter. Let's start with their overall look and feel. Like I mentioned, this is a specialty networking solutions company. When you look at their before deck, you really don't have an idea about their products or what are the outcomes of their products. Turned out their solutions help with industrial automation, helps with high-speed trains, mass transit. In fact, the Qatar stadium at the Soccer World Cup was powered by their networking solutions. So they do some really cool stuff, and we thought there was an opportunity to show what are the end results of what they do, not just, heavy up on the wires and the cables and the cabinets that they make. So we gave them a system here. If like over here, we are showing a refinery, some windmills. If you want to change that, in the future, you want to swap it with different images, you can do that as well. So it's a flexible system that works. Also, we gave them some abstract options as well because they want to talk about technology, being cutting edge. This image kind of exudes that feel. Then let's look at their key messages slide, which I already was a big fan of. We made it a little more digestible. The prior version was missing like bite size, high level nuggets. And so we attempted to do that over here by highlighting the key financial figures on the right. Obviously, we gave them some option depending on what they want to emphasize on. Is it the KPIs or the highlights or the text messages? Next, they dive into their key business updates section. We made it really simple. Let's say they wanted to convey 3 news. They can do it in a very simple way. That's what we gave them. We also give them options. If they have less business updates to share, here's an option for them. We also learned that this company makes, acquisitions from time to time, and they need to announce their acquisitions. So we gave them a really solid template which works for them every time they make an acquisition. So this here talks about key acquisition highlights, what are the offerings of the acquired companies, and some of the statistics, right, of the acquired companies. Again, we gave them options because, hey, you need slightly different layouts based on your situation. Let's dive into the financial portion of the earnings. Again, their flow was pretty solid. These are their full company results. They wanted to stick with the table format. We made sure to highlight certain portions more than the others. So the year-on-year change here and the right side commentary is a little more clear versus what it was before. If you look at the headlines too, right? The headlines are telling you like high level, what are the financial results versus just saying financial results overview. Really proud of some of this other work we did. If you remember their before version, they spoke about segment results in this format, talking about revenue, EBITDA percentage for each of their 2 segments. We thought there's a better way to show that, and this is the more visual approach we took. Also, some really clear commentary in the headline over here about how each of these segments did. What are some of the key drivers? Another one, which is my favorite, is remember they had these balance sheet highlights and cash flow numbers. We asked the IRO, what are the key numbers that they care about? And we were told cash and cash equivalents, net leverage, and then free cash flow. Those were really the 3 numbers they wanted to focus on. The rest could be in an appendix. And so we found out a way for them to convey just those 3 KPIs with commentary, and we gave them like a flexible system here. They wanted to show quarter to quarter as well as sequentially as well. So this is what we created for them. During the year, sometimes their free cash flow, cash equivalents also goes negative. So we provided them a system that allows for that. We also suggested some, line charts, other ways to show this data as well. Now let's talk about the earnings. We again gave them some options so that if they are updating guidance, that's pretty clear, right? So this is the previous guidance. This is the updated guidance. Their quarter's outlook for the next quarter is always new. They're always conveying that for the first time. And then we sort of underemphasize the assumptions there at the bottom. If they are reaffirming guidance, then this is the slide format that they should be using. They love some of the value creation framework, and so we enhanced it. We made it in line with everything else. We also gave them some options as well. We also added these slides. I'm a big fan of these at-a-glance slides, especially if somebody's new to your company or new to your deck. This gives them a quick high-level idea about, how big is the company, key financials, key segment information as well. And then there were some other slides which were just custom to their upcoming quarter. So this is just one of the slides with a few options. But overall, what we have given them is a system that works for, 90% of the situations for their quarterly earnings. Next, I wanted to show you how the IRO and his team has been using the system. Let me show you the actual quarterly earnings presentations, which are posted on their website. This is the first time, they used our earnings presentation system. This final deck was created by the IRO himself. We didn't help him with anything. We gave him the system, and he and his team, they populated the slides. And it's magical how everything comes together. This is their final version of the deck. This was their key messages slide. They are now using, proper headlines. They had an acquisition that quarter, and the system that we gave them worked really well to highlight about their acquisition. This is the total company results. Segment results works really well. Key numbers from their cash flow and balance sheet. They were increasing their outlook, so this worked really well for them. Their value creation framework. If you look at the last quarter, again, they did this on their own. Again, the system seems to be working. Key messages, the headlines. This was a business news slide. Some more business news that they are creating on their own based on everything we've given them before. Total company results, segment results, balance sheet cash flow results. And again, they are upgrading their full year outlook. Everything seems to be working for them. These are the slides that they are creating on their own. And the feedback that I got from them is, hey, their leadership loves it. They got a lot of good positive feedback from some of the analysts that follow their company as well. There you go. We have hopefully given you an inspiration for an earnings presentation system that you can apply on your own and really save time, really elevate the quality of your messaging, get your narrative across to your audiences more impactfully, more effectively for multiple quarters. Well, I hope you found this useful. And if you have any thoughts, if you missed something, if you have any ideas, comments, questions, please drop me a note. Until then, thank you.